Anyway, I'm so glad to be back. As always, every Friday we're going live, Channel 56. We're going live on the internet, worldwide. That's pretty heavy tasking, Francis Calluccio.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy. This is a lot of intensity, a lot of fire, a lot of work.
You're making me nervous.
I'm making you nervous? No, you're looking good. You're looking so good. Before we go any further with our interview, I want to thank my sponsors. We cannot go any further. We can. Madonia's brothers. I have to go to the Bronx, George. I gotta make the time to go and see my boys in the Bronx. D'Amico's, the best Italian specialty. Mrs. Caterina Lancova, Mr. Bruno Hair Salon. You can see the hair, nice and pretty. And of course, Chris Kosak, the voice that sells. Quite a man, quite a voice. So here we are tonight with Francis Calluccio, songwriter, producer, businessman, entrepreneur, all in one. Francis, thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Okay.
It's awesome.
This is good. So
Very exciting.
It's very exciting, right? You don't feel that we're going live, right? Do you feel it?
Not really. No.
No. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good. I was a little crazy getting here. I was in a lot of traffic. I raced up here. Just left the car out front running.
And what happened with the car? Do you park? You scare me. You're gonna be so concerned when you park the car. You don't want to get a ticket.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all good?
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about you, your career.
Okay.
The beginning.
The
Going
beginning.
back in time, Francis.
Wow. Well, okay.
Going back in time, because I read your stuff on the internet. Pretty impressive.
I actually started playing guitar when I was about 6, and I took lessons for a week, and then I stopped taking lessons, and I just continued to play. And in my teens, I started to pursue it even further. I was a little bit of a late bloomer with regard to the industry, and I got my first break with Rick Wake. Maybe some people have heard of him. Most probably people in the industry have heard of him. He's a pretty famous producer. He gave me my first publishing deal, and the rest is history. My first cut was with Celine Dion. I wrote a song for her album, A New Day Has Come.
A New Day. I love that album. It's very
Awesome
beautiful.
Album. Great album. She did the Titanic soundtrack. She did On My Heart Will Go On, which was a huge seller. That record sold like 30 million copies, and so
I wonder whether she was aware when she was doing the song. You know, you don't know sometimes how they're gonna be in the future. Wonder how aware she was.
That particular song, she did with David Foster in Los Angeles. He's another famous producer. He's the Rick Wake of the West Coast, and so she did the song. She went in, she sang it cold. She sang the demo, and they ended up using the demo for Titanic. So it was pretty amazing. But she retired after that. I don't know if anybody remembers.
Yeah, but she got pregnant. It was a time that she was trying to get pregnant. And,
exactly.
And life goes on. I think all of us, we should be entitled to have a life and be happy. Right, Francis?
I agree.
Okay, because I mean...
I don't want to disagree.
Well, I mean, when you go home, what do? You have to have your business, you have to have your job, you have to have your profession.
Absolutely.
But you have to live life.
She retired. She went into retirement for 2 years. She had her children. And then she came out of retirement with A New Day Has Come, which it was an amazing story to get on that record. I was very lucky, very fortunate, I got on it, and it sold, I think, close to 15 million records worldwide.
How was the experience? Can you give a little more details of the experience?
Yeah, I mean, I actually wrote the demo with Martin Briley, who's a famous songwriter. He's done tons of work with many, many artists, and Martin and I did the track, a demo, in his studio apartment in Manhattan, and we brought it into the big studio. We had a demo singer come in, and we recorded the whole thing. And the whole process about doing a song like that is, when she's going to do a record like that, they put a cattle call out to a lot of songwriters.
Right.
And so thousands of demos come in for her camp to listen to, and out of the thousands that came in, they narrow it down to about 100, and from those 100, she and her producers pick about 20 of those tracks, and then they do full-blown productions with, full everything, live musicians. She sings them all, and then from those 20, they pick 16. So I found out I was in the 20, and I was flipping out.
Yes.
This was my first big cut. Anyway, there's some history of that song too, which I'd like to talk about, but. So she recorded those 20, and we found out about a few months later that it was one of the 16, so it landed on the record.
It's incredible.
Now, the song was originally written for another artist.
Okay. Are we allowed to know? Or we keep it in the
Yeah.
we'll
I
keep
mean,
it in the QT. You tell me.
We can know, because it's kind of fun. It's an interesting story. I mean, it was...
I wanna hear about it.
I originally was thinking about the song for Jennifer Lopez. That was back when she did her first record, which was On the Six.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were writing songs for... I was part of a camp, Rick Wake's camp was about 10 or 12 writers that all wrote for a lot of Sony Epic artists. And, it was Celine and Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony and Enrique Iglesias and
Enrique Iglesias.
just a lot of different artists.
Big
And
names.
So I was reading the paper one morning, and that was when she was with P. Diddy, Puffy.
Puff Daddy?
I don't know what he calls himself now, but
Oh, he changed his name 1,000 times, but it works.
Diddy.
He keeps
Diddy.
comes.
Diddy
He
comes.
keeps making money.
and they were in the club that night, and I don't know if anybody remembers or if you remember.
Oh yeah, the gun.
Right.
Yes, of course I remember.
So-
That's when she decided. I'm not gossiping now, but that's when she decided to dump him, right? No, maybe she decided to go to
I
a
don't know.
different direction. We're
I
just
don't know
talking.
the personal history of it, but
Yeah,
I was
neither do I.
reading the newspaper, and I was like, wow. I was saying to myself, boy, he must be loving her right, and that's how When the Wrong One Loves You Right, which
Yeah.
is the title of the song, was born. So we did it for that, and they decided to change her direction. They were making her more of a hip-hop kind of thing. Her first
Right.
record was very pop. The second record was kind of hip-hop. So they passed on it, and Jessica Simpson got it. Her camp got it, and they liked it, and they wanted us to change the lyrics, too, from When the Wrong One Loves You Right to When the Right One Loves You Right, because she was, sort of blonde, American, chiclet, white teeth, and
Right.
it was When the Right One Loves You Right. So we changed the lyrics, she recorded it, and they didn't release it on that record. It was her first record called Irresistible at the time, and they didn't. I found out that she recorded it, and I said to Rick, I'm like, oh my God, this is great. This thing's going to sell like 1 million records, and as it turns out, they passed because they didn't want to release it as a single, and Rick pulled it, and I was just like, oh my God, no, please. And he's like, trust me. And a few months later, Celine heard it and recorded it, and the rest is history. So that kind of put me on the map. per
That's
se.
pretty amazing. I mean, it's crazy amount of competition.
Unbelievable.
I cannot even. Are we in the right business, or we're crazy people, or both?
Well, you do what you love,
You got to do what you love.
Yeah.
But your business seems to be almost impossible to get into.
Well, I mean, since the change of the industry, I mean, it's more difficult now than it was. I mean, back
What about the
then-
economy with the industry? How does it
Well,
affect?
I mean, the record industry is, it took a big hit, got broadsided by the internet and pirating and
Right.
file sharing. And so back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, you could get publishing deals with big record companies, and now record companies' profits are so, let's say, pilfered by, by what people file sharing, downloading off the internet. People don't pay for music anymore, so
Right.
consequently we all suffer. So who wants to hire a guy like me to write songs when nobody sells records? So
Right.
that's when about 7 years ago, I started a company called Oracle Music.
Yeah, I wanted
And,
to ask you about that. You read my
yeah.
mind just right.
Yeah, we do music for television mostly, and some film projects.
Let's talk about that. This
Yeah,
company
great.
specifically.
Oracle is a company that does music for television, multimedia, film, and we have about 40 writers signed to the company now, which is pretty amazing.
It's pretty. It's a big number.
My partner and I literally started it on my living room floor, sitting cross-legged, and we burned a few CDs, and he's the sales arm of the company, and his name is John Sands, and he works at IMG. He's got a seat over there. IMG Media, the largest sports production company, largest sports management company in the world, pretty much. And so it was a great marriage. I had my finger on the pulse of all these cutting-edge writers. When they weren't on the road or in the studio, they were home in their own recording studios, not doing anything. So we got the opportunity to put them to work, and he had the place to put the music right away. So it was great.
How do you make a successful business? What do you think? What's the key? I know it's a vague question. It's not, I don't know how specific we can be, because everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to sell. All of us we want to make it. All of us want to be happy. How do you make something successful?
I think the only thing that I can think of is persistence. You know?
Persistence.
I think it's persistence.
And you have to be surrounded with the right people, the right team.
Well, part of that comes from being persistent. You know,
Right.
I was so, you know, I was like a dog with a bone. You know, when I got it in my mouth, I wouldn't let go until I got what I wanted. You know, and that sort of helps you to meet the right people and find yourself in the right places. And so, you know, it was really fortunate. I mean, it was funny how I met John, my business partner. I was online at the local record store. You know, Sony would only give me X amount of copies of, I think it was like 20 copies of the Celine record when it came out. So,
Right.
of course, I had to hand them out to my friends and family, so that wasn't enough. So I was online at the record store. I ordered a box of them. And the guy behind the counter said, "Hey, that guy behind you is in the music business." And I turned around, and that's how I met my partner, you know. And,
Incredible.
yeah, so, and that's how Oracle was born, so.
Oracle.
So we
The
do
name,
tons
I
of
like the
music.
name, Oracle.
Auracle.
Where that name comes from.
Well, aura is hearing as well.
Right. But how you came up with the idea for?
He came up with that.
He did.
Actually, yeah.
He
Yeah.
did, he did. Now working together, the ups and downs, the obstacles along the way. People like to hear, because all of us want to hear beautiful stories, but the struggle is what makes you or breaks you. You know, everybody wants to hear behind the music, before they became who they became. All of us, are we interested in hearing?
I'll tell you what I had to do in order to follow my dream. I mean, I did everything. Even late in my early 30s, you know, I used to drive a bread truck, midnight to 6 a.m., 7 days a week. I used to deliver bread.
Wow,
You know, so I
look
could
at that.
keep my days free to write music and pursue, you know, that. I was a bartender. I was a waiter. I was, you know.
We've done it all.
Yeah. You know.
We've done it all. I mean,
Yeah.
this is New York City.
Absolutely.
We got to
So,
pay the rent, the mortgages,
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
You're not married. This
I
is
am not
personal.
married.
Okay, so you have plenty of time for your work.
Yeah.
You don't get caught up in any kind of, you know.
I mean, that's the
You don't
other thing.
have to. You're a busy man. Do you have time, honestly?
No.
No, of course not. You want to have time?
But there are people who are as busy as I am that have time, right? So,
Yes.
you know, it depends on, I guess, how you prioritize. You know, for me, it was, I couldn't see the amount of focus it took, and I was engaged a couple of times, but the amount of focus it took to
Oh, wait, that was a little too quick for me.
Huh.
I'm pulling my dress down a little bit. Okay, say that again. I just, I
which
missed
part?
it. You just said it. You were engaged?
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear about that. I'm sorry. You were engaged,
She was
but
the best.
oh,
Yeah.
you still love
She
her.
was
I
the
can
one.
see that in your
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah. She's married with 3 kids, though.
Oh God. So we're not gonna get into that.
But, yeah, no, it's, you know, the thing I had to do was, you know, sacrifice a lot, you know, to,
What's the
get where we got.
most important thing for you? What really matters to you? At the end of the day, when you go home, when you take a shower, and your mind is in silence, absolute silence, what do you think about?
it just goes blank.
I mean, are you kind of you obsessed with the work that you take your work
I do.
at
You
home?
know, home is, I have a studio in my house.
Right,
so
but can
I
you
get up.
separate? Can you separate both?
It's a very hard thing to do for an artist, I think. At least for this artist, it's difficult to separate my work from my person, you know. People say, oh, you should just leave your work at home, but my work is born from my feelings, my experiences, my loves, my fights, you know, whatever it is. And that's how I write a great pop song, or do a composition for a piece of film, or a soundtrack for a television show. You know, we do a lot of Bravo programming.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's pretty
Yeah, it's
cool.
fun.
It's exciting. You're happy. You're a happy man. I can see that.
I am. I'm a little stressed right now. 'Cause
Are you?
know,
For what? For this interview?
No, this is cool.
Oh, this is cool. Okay, good.
Yeah, this is great.
It's good. But you're working 7 days a week. You don't
Yeah.
stop. You don't take a day off.
Not really, no.
Do you eat properly? Do you
No.
sleep properly?
No.
No, you don't. No. That's no good. I'm not a doctor now.
Just ask me about all the healthy things. I just say no.
No, I mean it's like because you have to balance.
Well, I try to get to the gym. You know, I was really good about it for a while, but lately I haven't been able to. It's just been crazy, you know. I'm trying to make a move into doing a lot of commercials right now, and
Okay.
it's working out very well, you know, but it's very time consuming. And, you know, just for example, I just finished doing a piece. I started on Wednesday at 6 p.m., and when I walked into the studio tonight, I had just
Finish.
turned it in. You know, so in the studio here to do the show.
Right.
I had just finished, and now I'm waiting to hear because, you know, undoubtedly want to tweak it, want me to tweak it, and then it has to be in by Sunday, and then, you know, if I get it,
Right.